We will just get today started with the lumberjack landlord, a.k.a. Matt, and his lovely wife, Ashley. Let's go. And this is the first PowerPoint.
I talked to Mike about this, I think 7 minutes after last year closed. And I said, Mike, I think I got an idea. And he's like, yeah, let's hear it. And I said, one of the things that I hear most often in our community is that my spouse isn't on board. It happens, right? How about this? Is this better? I'll swallow the mic for you guys.
I think you got to step back.
Boy, I was going to say, loudness has never been a problem. But one of the things that was near and dear to my heart was I was in real estate investing when I met my wife. And so date 2, I'll let her tell that story, but it was really important for how I was going to get out of the rat race because I was working W-2, corporate America. At that time, I was only in corporate America for 10 years, and I realized this is a lot of fun and exhausting, but I want an exit out. And so part of finding a mate, which was tough enough, was also recognizing that we had to have alignment and how I wanted to live my life. And so then I was blessed meeting my amazing wife over my left-hand shoulder, who likes to stand and be taller than me on the second step. Came into my life, but we wanted to just share with you guys and give you guys hope. If you're the, I used to say to Ashley, I was like, you can't be an anchor. You can't be an anchor. And anchors can be good, right? They can keep you grounded, but they can also hold you back. And so we would have to have that conversation, and she was always such an amazing wife, and I wanted her to share the story from her perspective. You guys know my perspective. I'm obnoxious, I'm hard driving, I'm really pushy. I'll tell you exactly the way I think about the situation to the point where you probably hate me, and that's okay. But I wanted you guys to hear from her perspective because I think you have no idea the power of a team. And the most important team that you have is the one that you have in your household. So I couldn't have been, our company wouldn't be where it is without my wife. And she is amazing because she had zero background in anything, and all she had was a willing heart. And that changed the complexion of our business and our impact. So I'll turn it over to her at this point and have her do most of the smart talking. So you want to just...
All right, I'll be over here. Yeah. Okay.
I like to look at you when I talk.
Okay. So. Well, thank you so much for having me here, and thanks for that, babe. That's really sweet. It's really a pleasure to be here and quite an honor. I have to be honest, when I met Matt and married Matt, I never really thought our real estate journey would take us somewhere like this, but Matt's a driven guy, so maybe I had an inkling. I should have known. So, like I said, I'm Ashley. I'm his wife. I'm going to go over you've known his story, so now I'm going to tell you our real estate journey through my eyes and how I grew. You can flip the slide if you want. Is there a clicker? Yep. Okay. Is it like that? Or...
Do you want me to click for you?
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Okay, you're good.
So Matt and I met in 2005. I was a very young 20-year-old, and Matt was a very mature 28-year-old, and now you can do all the math on where we are in our ages and things like that. So Matt has always said in the real estate timeline that, the first 5 years of real estate can always be like the hardest, where you grind the most, where you learn the most lessons. And for me personally, this is absolutely the truth. I definitely had to grow the most in my first 5 years. So we talked about finances probably on our first or second date. Matt says the first, I think it's the second. Semantics. So Matt told me that when we're married, because we just kind of knew early on we were going to get married. And he's like, when we're married, the properties are going to be your properties, they're going to be our properties, we're going to grow this thing together. And I was like, yay, that sounds great. As a 20-year-old, you're just like, oh, that's so wonderful. However, I didn't really know what that meant. I didn't really understand what it was like to be an owner. It still kind of seemed like they were his things, that I got the perks of, but they were like his things. So this is how I grew. And in 2008, We hit the lovely big housing crisis, the big, Great Recession, the financial thing. So we got married in 2007, and then we quickly hit the housing crisis. So we have a new marriage, and then we are almost bankrupt.
Only three times.
Only like 3 times. It was awesome.
And to paint the picture for you guys, to put the real numbers, because I'll share these numbers because they're 20 years old. $19,000 a month in financial commitments, $8,000 a month coming in.
It was not good, Michael.
Leave it to the CPA in the room or the accountant in the room. Good accounting, Mike. Nailed it.
It was.
Yes, not good.
So really the only thing keeping us above water at this point is that Matt is working his W-2 job. And luckily he had a job in sales where he could, but he had to work the hours. He had to work really hard. And so because he was in that for all his hours, I had to then start to step into the properties. And this is kind of where I started taking over some of the work because I had to.
Yeah.
In 2009, we started our first house hack together. That was quite a journey. We ended up looking at this property. I'll tell you. So in 2009, when we do our first house hack, Matt looks at the property. He sees the numbers. He says, this is actually going to work out for us. He does the whole, it's going to cash flow. We'll be able to afford this. And he is working out with the broker, and he goes, I just need Ashley to look at it before she goes to her meeting, and then she just has to give her like final approval because she has to work on it because we're married and this is what we do. And I show up to the property, I walk in the door, the first thing that hits you straight in the face is cat urine. And I'm like, oh. And the kitchen is the dirtiest, most disgusting thing. Like, I think it's barely linoleum on the floor, and it's loaded with dirt, and the carpets is the most soiled thing I've ever seen in my life. And in my mind, I'm moving into this. And I have to now move into this. So I just start crying. And all I can see is this horrible house. And I just was like, great, I'm moving into this. And Matt, this is where Matt wants to move me, and this is it. And it's awful. And as the real estate agent's shutting the door, he has a great look of concern because it seemed like it was going well when he talked to Matt, and then he sees the wife, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And as I'm walking away, I go, it's okay, Ross. Matt's gonna send you a purchase and sales. As I'm crying, he goes, okay. You could tell he was like, Matt, I don't think your wife is that happy. And he goes, she'll live. It'll be fine. She'll live. It'll be fine.
I said to him, you act like this is the first time one of your prospective buyers has cried in a property. It's like, quit being such a baby about it. You're going to get a P&S, you big baby.
Funny story, I lived, and then so I come home, and Matt goes, you cried? And he's like, what is the problem with this? I'm like, it is so gross. And he goes, we're not going to move in like that. And I was like, we're not? And he's like, no, like, we can fix it up a little bit before we move in. I'm like, oh, okay, well, then we're fine. And I was like, then we're fine. And so we get, at that point, a different type of construction loan than we do now.
Yeah, we got a 203K Streamline. So that's much like Meet Kevin, right? So 203K Streamline, $35,000 limit. They give you $17,500 up front. You get $17,500 on the back end, and then there's usually some administrative stuff in there. Yep. But that was our option. But real quickly, the reason that we had to do this was because Fannie and Freddie during the Great Financial Crisis cut from 10 buildings possible to 4 buildings possible. I was at 5. I was dead in the water as a real estate investor. I couldn't do anything. So my only option at that point was to be innovative and find a different path. Water always finds its level. So if I want to be anything, I want to be water. I want to flow where I can flow. Mm-hmm. And so this meant changing up the strategy, doing something different, going back to house hacking. I didn't even realize I'd house hacked twice before. It's like, wait a second, this is exactly what I did last time, except now I have a live-in roommate who's not going to pay me rent. So that's kind of how it went. I was like, I can still make the numbers work. But yeah, live-in roommate, no rent. But yeah, speed us up.
Not just, okay,
Yeah.
So we ended up having to move into that, long story short, moving into that, no bathroom, no kitchen, even though there's no pea carpet. So exactly. 2012, I ended up going to nursing school. I graduated nursing school. We finally hit our 5-year anniversary, and we finally hit our first real goal of 10 properties. When we started dating, Matt was like, we want 10 properties. We finally did. And I was like, good, we're going to stop. And he goes, no, that was just the first goal. We're going to keep going. And I was like, oh.
If I started off at 100, she'd have said no.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, well, that doesn't seem right. So now I'm like, okay, now we're moving on.
Create a beachhead.
So we're moving on. So in 2018, I start taking over more of the financials in the business. I'm starting to really find my rhythm. We're really grooving. I take over the financials. We are having kids. In 2021, Matt just went gangbusters and bought, like, I think
23 properties in 19 months.
It was insane.
It's because they could do math. 2.75, 3.75 debt, right? And the prices hadn't been affected yet. So if you give me free money, I will take it every time.
So now we have
She didn't like that. She thought that was horrible, but yeah.
So now we have a lot of work. So now it really makes sense for me to not be a nurse anymore. It makes sense for me to start really moving into the back office. And that was what was best for our family because Matt couldn't do all of the things with property acquisition and his W-2 and all the things. So this is how I became like our real back office lady. Yeah. And then in 2024, we actually finally hit our really awesome goal that Matt got to quit his W-2. And that was an awesome day. And we're actually 1 year to the day today. That was his first day of retirement.
So my first day of retirement 1 year ago.
One year ago today. So awesome job, babe. We had a great time. Okay, so as we've said, in 2005, Matt and I meet. We talk about our finances on the first day. I am a very young 20-year-old. I have not rented a property on my own. I live with my mom.
That's
have
true.
0 bills on my own. And Matt has traveled the world. He has hit record sales and record goals. And I'm like, so we were really far apart on the maturity level. As we get married in 2007, you can see what these baby faces. As we get married in 2000,
My beard's just bigger. That's about it. I look pretty much exactly the same. That's 20 years ago. That's good.
So
you look good too, babe.
When we first get married, Matt, we have 2 different properties, and Matt's like, we're going to put both of these on the market. Whichever one rents out first, we're going to move into the other. Well, I was a young 20-year-old, and I had already envisioned myself moving into this cute little single-family house, and we were going to have it, and I had already decorated it, and it was all amazing. And then that one's the one that rented out. So we moved into this lake house that was stuck in the 70s, and it was not renovated, and I was like, we have to move there, and he's like, yup. And I was like, oh, my first taste in sacrificing for your financial goals and for what you want. And so we were really far apart on maturity level, skill level, and the understanding of the trajectory of our properties. Very far apart. So this is how, in my journey, how I grew as a partner. I had a lot of work to do. I had to grow in my skill set. I had to grow financially. And my mindset had to change. It took a lot.
It was a lot of, the big thing that most people don't recognize is they see you standing on the top of a mountain and they have no idea what it took to get you there.
Yep.
And the fact of the matter is that picture is a real picture. We have tons of pictures of kids in baby Bjorns. Actually, baby Bjorns fit her; they don't fit me. I have to get the extra daddy lullababy German size or whatever. It's like massive. We've had kids on site and doing all of this work. So if you think you have it hard, just showing up and doing the work yourself, imagine having a 6-month-old attached to you. Ashley would do that. We couldn't afford property management. We couldn't afford someone to go fix things. She didn't know the first thing about anything, and so we used to go do calls together. And I would say, this is how you change this is how you update this. So she can bleed a heating system, she can change out switches, she can do all of these things.
You're getting ahead of me.
Sorry, go ahead. Skill set. Yeah, skill set's there.
So this is how I became our maintenance girl back then. So like I had said earlier in our timeline, in 2008, we had the housing crisis. Matt has to work his W-2, so he has to tell me how to do things because he's like, I have to be on a sales call. You have to go fix it. Because we went from 8 paying tenants to 1. We were broke as a joke. We were barely, like you were like going to the store and you're like, please let me be able to afford these groceries. Please let me be afford these groceries. And then you're like, oh, it didn't work. It didn't go through. Okay, I'll be back. Bye. And just leave your cart and then like go. So that's happened a couple of times. And like.
So let's talk about that for a real quick second, because that's super embarrassing.
It is embarrassing. it is embarrassing. It was hard.
We couldn't afford groceries.
Couldn't afford to go to the dollar store menu if we wanted a real date night treat. We'd go to the dollar menu at McDonald's.
We would wait
for
until
like
they'd
our
have,
one.
we didn't have a Sonic, so that didn't work. But we had to wait for like McDonald's to do their sale on their every other year their ice cream machine working. We could get it for $1.19, and now they're $4. What a joke! But this is
Ate lots of pasta.
this is the sacrifice. Like ramen, pasta, like we did it together.
Yep.
And it was horribly, awfully awesome.
Yes. It was horrible at the time. Looking back, some of my best memories together. We grew so much closer together in the sacrifice. I will never trade those moments. Ever. Never go back. I can look around my town and just know that our date night was driving around our city, looking at our properties, and I still have nostalgia every time we pass houses. Love that. I will never trade it.
Even the ones that you said I couldn't buy.
I still don't regret those. That comes later.
I regret them. I'm like, see that one? She's like, yeah. I go, remember we could have bought that like 15 years ago? Yeah. It's worth $1.4 million. Yeah. $375 is what we
That
could have
comes
bought
later. That comes later. Tell you about that later. So I went from zero repair skills. I mean, I could do nothing. Like I told you, I lived in my mom's house. My dad did everything. He wouldn't even let us mow the lawn. As a girl in the house, I couldn't even take out the trash because that was a boy's job. So I knew nothing. I did nothing. I quickly learned how to do some minor plumbing. I can replumb a whole sink. I can fix pretty much anything on a toilet. I will tell you my first story of learning how to plumb. Like I told you, we were in this crappy 70s lake house, and there was an old like bidet toilet seat, and it was old. And so the water line was like stinky. It always stunk. You couldn't clean it. I was like, this is disgusting. I was like, I am going to take initiative and I am going to change this toilet seat. Go me. So I take the toilet seat off, but of course it's a bidet, so there's a little water line. And I'm like, yeah, really no big deal. And I couldn't get the shut off thing to really work. It was like kind of rusted. So I just cut it. And water is spraying everywhere. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I am trying to get the water shut off. It's not going. It's really rusted. And so I have the trash can, and the water's filling up in the trash can. And Matt is on the phone, and he literally is walking by the bathroom, and he just stops, and he goes, gentlemen, at this point, I'm going to have Paul Donahue take over the call, and my wife has gotten into a plumbing project that she cannot fix. And, then transfers the call over. And I was like, I'm so sorry. And he's like, water shut off. And I was like, I'll never do that again.
That's true.
Great lesson. But that's how I learned. I went back. Go back.
There you go.
So I can now also do a bunch of heat repair. I'm usually the girl that goes out and troubleshoots a lot of our tenant heating issues. It's actually one of my favorite things to do because heating is usually a really simple fix. And when I show up, tenants are like, oh, you're gonna go fix it? And then 2 seconds it's up and running. Have a great night, I did it. So I love heat repair. Minor electrical, I also learned the hard way. I started doing it on our lake house that we were renovating. I was changing out the light switches and the outlets and, making them the bright white plates. And Matt hears me going oh, oh. And I'm like, geez, that hurts. And he goes by and he goes, when you take the circuit panel and you flick the power off, he goes, you don't get zinged. And I was like, what? So that's how I learned
where all the noise was coming from the back room. I was like, what are you doing back there? I feel like I should be back there with you. What is going on back there? I was like, here, let me help. Click,
And then we got me an electrical tester, so
Yes.
that never happened again. That's how I learned how to do electrical,
Yes.
in a way. I learned how to paint. I was the worst painter to start. I just had drips everywhere, and Matt comes by and he goes, babe, what is this? I'm like, what? It's painted. He goes, it's running down the wall. He's like, you can't leave it like that. And I'm like, you can't? And he's like, no, this is horrible. And so he taught me how to paint. He taught me how to be it nice and smooth, and now I'm actually a really good painter, and I'm way better than you.
She is. She doesn't need tape anymore.
No, I don't. I'm actually really good.
But the point to all of this, obviously, is she was completely out of her comfort zone constantly.
Constantly.
Constantly out of her comfort zone. And all it was willingness. And for her husband, being her husband, the most important thing to me was not that she was Michelangelo painting the walls, but that she was willing to do it because that's what our family needed. That's what our team needed. And so she rose to the occasion as a team player and just said, whatever the need is, I'm just going to try and jump in there and do it, because I can't go out there and make the money that Matt's making in order to afford these units that aren't getting paid for. So she just jumped in and she just did the work. And so it was to her credit that no matter what the occasion that rose, sometimes I never thought I would say, I wish she wasn't so excited about jumping into a new project. It's like, let's just stop. Let's just maybe shut off electric or shut off the water. But it was her willingness to do these things. And I think so often, if we can just work with our significant others and just recognize that we're a team and that we're in this together, and that it's going to be far better together than it will be with one person's effort. Because the fact of the matter is that the money isn't getting split at the end, unless you're getting divorced. The money isn't split.
Not happening.
The money isn't split in the end. And so it's really important that at least be supportive. One of the things that Ashley and I had a conversation early on in our marriage about was, hey, listen, my job is super demanding. And I said, and I'm not always, I said, if you just come into the room with me with a problem, I'm an executive, I'm gonna actually fix it. So you need to tell me, do I need to listen? Or do I need to fix? So it was listen or fix. And she would say, I just need you to listen. Okay, cool, hit me with listen. And I would listen. And then sometimes I would still be thinking in my head what the fix is. But that was for later. That was for later, because I can't not fix a problem. I'm an executive, this is how we do it. And so
You're way better at fixing than listening.
It's true, that's very true. I was like, well, I don't understand why you can't see the fix here. This is like 7 seconds, like do this. But it's the best thing for me is that I'm 90-10. I am 90% action, push, hard, drive, and she is kind, and she is nice, and she is gentle. And so the thing that's the most gentle thing about me is how I've had to treat my wife, because she's not a contractor. If you treat your wife like a job, like she's a coworker, if you treat her like that, it's not going to go well. You treat your job like it's a job, and you treat your relationship like it's a relationship, and value the one that's in this journey with you. Recognize that you're both in that same point of frustration. And to Ashley's credit, she did an amazing job, because it was always a willingness. And that's what she got right. What she got right was she purposed in her heart that I'm willing to do what it takes to help our family be successful, regardless of what that is.
Just wait till you see what I learn next.
Uh-oh.
So I also learned like the legal
yeah.
process. I've also learned how to do tenant evictions. We had a lot of them, and I learned how to do it. So now we don't have to hire lawyers or anything like that. We can do it. He goes to court, but I handle all the paperwork for it. I still refuse to go to court if I can help it.
She's like, I'm not going to court. I was like, this is so fun. She's like, I am not even, I was like, just go sit behind me. She's like, I'm not going, I want to go.
It makes me want to.
Yeah, I'm like, just watch. She's like, no. I was like, I love going to court.
I also do all the, like, most of the tenant communication, and learned how to do that more professionally, and what you can say, what you cannot say, and how to document unit conditions and such like that. One of my biggest growths was financially. So, awesome. This is not fun. This is where I'm going to bare my soul, and you're going to really see. So becoming a financially sound partner, like I told you, I went from living at my mom's house. I've had 0 bills to now that I'm married, and we have...
Thanks, Mom.
We have mortgages, and we have tenants, and we went from dating a more comfortable dating style to now being broke. So I had to learn a whole lot, learn it quick, and I didn't do it well to start. I had to learn how to budget, because I didn't have to do that before, because I didn't have expenses. And so I ended up overdrafting my account a couple of times. I say 2, Matt says more.
Yeah.
I remember 2, probably because of the trauma. Matt probably remembers more because also that same trauma. I just remember being in our kitchen, and Matt's like, what is going on here? And I look at my banking app, and it's like negative $300 a couple times. And on the second time, Matt was like, babe, we don't have money, like extra money, never mind to do on these stupid things that are just overdraft fees. He's like, what is happening here? And I wasn't spending money on stupid stuff. I wasn't spending money on, it really wasn't coffee. It really was not, because we looked at it. But it was like, I didn't realize that when I had gone to Walgreens for this or had gone to this, and I just hadn't looked at it appropriately. I went to the pet store and got our dog food, but I didn't look appropriately at what the balances were doing, and so I ended up overdrafting. So we learned that I needed a new system. So this was one of the things where Matt was so gracious and so kind to me. He didn't treat me like a partner. He didn't treat me like a business partner. He treated me like a husband. And there was one time, whenever we would have a disagreement, I'd go up in the shower and I'd cry and I'd like, oh, why is he so mean, whatever. And this last time that I overdrafted the account, Matt is like, babe, this cannot happen again. We have to have a serious conversation. This is not happening. And I was so upset. I felt so bad. I'm tanking our family. It's me. And I ended up hiding between our basement door and our stove in our kitchen. And I'm just like silently like crying. And I'm feeling horrible. And Matt just rounds the corner and he sees me tucked down and he goes, oh, I thought I was safe when I didn't hear the shower running. And he goes, come on over here. And he just gave me the biggest hug. And he goes, babe. And I was like, are you mad? Are you going to leave me? And he goes, I am never going anywhere. He goes, we are in this forever. He goes, we will fix it, but we are going to change our system. And we moved me to a cash budget. It showed me very quickly how to budget. It showed me very quickly. I ended up being a really awesome saver at that. I ended up saving us tons of money just by being able to see right in front of us what was good. And then I learned how to be more financially responsible. I learned how to do our tax preparation and bookkeeping for Matt. This was actually something.
For us.
Well, you started, this was
Yes.
originally when we were dating your job, so I took it off your plate.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. And I actually, this was the one thing I was good at to start. The only thing I was good at to start. And I had to grow through all of these issues I had to grow through all these issues to be a financially sound partner, someone that could take over the back office, someone that could help manage our finances. There were a couple of times, where I started to take things off your plate. And I was like, I can pay the bills that come in from like Eversource, which is our electric company. I'm like, I can start paying the ones that just like come in, the minor ones. He handled all the big ones, the contractors or whatever. And I was like, I'll handle all the small ones. And he's like, okay, that would be great. I don't have time to like write out all these checks. Let's do this. And this is before online banking as much. And so then I pay all the bills. I see them come in. I pay them all. I'm thinking, I'm awesome. Look at me. I am taking stuff off his plate. Go me. And I fall asleep like a baby that night. And Matt wakes me up. He goes, babe, why do I have checks bouncing like super balls? And I said, what? And he goes, did you write a bunch of checks? And I said, yeah, I paid all the bills that came in. He goes, how much was that for? And I was like, I don't know. And he goes, you didn't look in the account to see what was in the account before you started writing checks? And he goes, and you didn't tell me I was writing checks. And he goes, and now we have contractor checks bouncing all over New Hampshire. And I was like, oh. And I was like, gross.
I said to her, I'm really proud of you. I said, you wrote all the bills. Every outstanding debt we had, even the ones that were 3 days old. Like, you were on it, babe. 3 days old. Why aren't we paying that debt? It's 3 days old, like net 3. And so she pays them all, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, all right, I mean, fantastic job. The only downside is you wrote $14,000 checks on $6,000 in the account. So here's the best part. It put us so far negative, they froze our account for fraud. So I'm talking to the bank, and I was like, and I'm having to say this to a female bank manager. Have you ever had that moment when your wife wrote all the checks? Remember, and she, all with good intention, there was just not enough money there. And I said, that's actually what happened if you look. And it was like, you could tell the whimsy in Ashley's handwriting as she was writing. She was so proud. It was big swooping letters. It's like $8,432. I was like, what the hell? Like literally looking at the check, you could tell how excited she was to write the check. And then I'm just looking at the balance and I'm like, all right, we're like minus $7,500 and I have that in my other pants, not with me. You know, so that was some of the things that we kind of had to work through, but
then we also changed my system again.
just a system change, just a mere
Yep.
system change.
So we changed my system again where we chatted and I said, these are the bills that are going out. That I see this in the account. Do you have anything that I don't see coming out or anything? And he would say, yes, no, send it all. Here we go. So we ended up, it was a good lesson in communication and growing together. So that was that. And now I manage our rent roll and our tenant rent balances as well. Sorry.
So do you want to do questions now? Because I
Sure.
think people kind of get the hint at this point.
Yeah.
But what we'd love to do is talk to you guys, really about the transitioning of the ownership mentality like Ash talked about. They're really the key points, and obviously we're shortening it because of time.
Yeah, sorry.
But that's okay. We had to put 20 years into, 50 minutes or 40 minutes, so I get it. So we'd love to take your guys' questions, but I think the biggest thing is it is teamwork, and the most important team member is in your house. And there's a way, my systems and processes, elite and magical as they are, did not work for my wife. They just didn't work for her, and that's okay. So what we had to do was Revenge of the Nerds, if you've ever seen Revenge of the Nerds, I lavard the javelin for her. That's what I had to do. We would have lost if they had to just throw the regular javelin, but I made a javelin that she could throw that she could win with. And when you're a team, winning and that outcome is both of your responsibilities. And so if a thing continues to fail and continues to get hung up, you need to have enough humility to say, hey, my system and process isn't working. This is not going well. We have to change this up because we have to make sure that the person that's running it can actually do it. And so while my way works for me, it doesn't work for her. So long as we can get to the same right goal, however we get there, it doesn't matter. And so she would do some things where I'm like, oh, dear God, why is she doing it that way? At the end of the day, it worked for her, and that's all that mattered, and that we could get on the right page. So, questions? Questions? We'll take questions. That good, Mike? Where are you, Mike? Yeah, good. Okay. Suleika.
You know my name?
Of course I know your name. You're the one who stood me up on Lumberjack Boot Camp last Saturday. Put your plate with your husband there instead. I saw.
My question is, okay, just dynamic. I wouldn't say you made her cry, but the situation
I did make her cry.
Make Ashley cry. And
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you
Made
made
her
her
cry.
cry. Not cool.
Yeah.
But I'm like, ooh, what?
Yeah. She would cry. Well, I mean, so I think that, so go ahead with the question. Yeah, go ahead.
So my question is, what made you mad about this guy?
Mad?
Yeah, I mean, if he got mad at you about stuff, what made you mad about him?
Yeah. I always told you I was really good.
That's
Really good.
hard. I think the hardest part was that I knew I was further behind in maturity level, and I at least was mature enough to realize that fact. And so I knew that a lot of my shortcomings was in the property-wise. He really hasn't made me mad. Property-wise, partnership-wise, he hasn't made me mad. I can say that there are things marriage-wise that we have a couple things where I'm like, oh, babe. But that does not come into our property world very often. He usually is right. I can always say that Matt Hawkins is usually right. And I actually, that was one of my
Not
biggest
wrong.
growth points, was learning I need to trust him. I can trust him. And I don't have to be the right one. If there's someone that has the answer in the room, I can be mature enough to say, let's go with that. I know I don't have the answer in the room. He knows the deals. He actually can sign a P&S on anything, almost anything, without talking to me about it. He can just say, I found this deal, I signed it, we're gonna be buying this property. I say, great. And then he'll run me through the specifics of the deal. He will make all design choices without me because he's the expert in the room for it. And that is fine. And he trusts me on what I am now an expert in. But, so I can't say property-wise he ever really made me mad. It just hurt having to grow. Making mistakes
hurts.
sucks. I hate making mistakes. It is an injury to your pride. It is an injury to feel like you're not good enough. But I think if you can put it aside, and we just ended up putting aside and just saying, why did it fail? Instead of me focusing on my failures, it was why did it fail and how can I make it not happen again?
Yeah. I would say to her, I was like, this isn't Jeopardy, this is Granite State Challenge. And so Jeopardy, you're against each other. Granite State Challenge is a panel of 4, it's like a debate team. And you're answering questions. I said, listen, I already hit the buzzer. I already gave the right answer. Just be excited we won. Like, it's okay, because I didn't care. I would literally do anything I could to help her win and give her the right answer and put her in front of a contractor. And if you make my wife cry, I'm gonna punch your guts out. Because a couple of tenants, I was like, hang up the phone. She's like, no, I can't. Hang up the phone. I took the phone out of her hand, I hung it up. And then I called him back and I said, hey, I'm gonna be on your doorstep in about 7 minutes. One of the perks of owning property close to where you live. And I said, you ever make my wife cry like that again? And I said, we're gonna have a big issue. And I said, I promise, I can make your life pretty miserable. And tenants are abusive. They will be abusive. They will take liberties and draw that fine line. But I think the key is, again, it's always teamwork. It's recognizing that you are on the same team, that my win is her win and her win is my win. Mm-hmm. There's no my wins. It's our wins because we're a team. We good? Oh, more questions? Yes, okay. I will. Question in the back. I see your hand. Yes, yours. Sacrifice and spending. What was the big aha moment to get there with me?
To realize what we needed to sacrifice spending?
It was everything.
Well, what was my big aha moment? We had
Not
nothing.
being able to pay for groceries.
We had nothing. I luckily was not always a big spender. That is where I did come into the marriage probably good. I really didn't spend on a lot of frivolous things. I was naturally more of a saver. Yeah. I think when I saw the stress on my husband, and he's sitting there in the computer, in the banking app, he's on the line, and he's struggling, and he's just pouring over the finances. He's like, okay, I've got this, and I've got this coming out, and I've got this. And you can see it in his face. I have to make this. I have this. And there's something that says, I can go without this. I don't even want it anymore because I cannot even think about putting an ounce more pressure on your shoulders. I do not want to collapse you or crush you. How can I, buoy you up in any way I can? So that I think that was just seeing his stress. I couldn't put more on him.
You haven't lived until you've gotten a text from your wife saying, I had to walk out of the grocery store because the debit card, or because we were out of credit. It's the worst. It's the absolute worst. And so we had the great financial crisis happen, and that's what was the worst about that, right? Is that kind of happened to us, and there was really not a whole lot I could do about it. However, situation is what it is. So now we have to find a way out of it. Yep. And we're going to do it as a team, not as singles trying to go off in different directions. Yep. Last question? Still more questions? Question? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So my wife's so nice. She's a nice
Slacker.
Oh, you.
I'm very much like you.
Yeah.
I'm paramedic by training. A lot of things going on.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get her on board. Things you go invest
Yeah, I wouldn't invest there either. There's a reason we're having this event in Vegas, I think.
I think my question is kind of for the both of you, like working the dynamic of how do you maintain being as ambitious as you are?
Yeah.
And then I'm very much like, I want 100 properties. Okay, let's start with 100 units.
Yeah.
Like, let's start with one. And I was like, well, we have 2 already. So go.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you,
So
is it like yearly conversations of like,
oh no, yearly you're gonna be divorced.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the question is, my being as ambitious as I am, and he's very ambitious as well. His wife is an ICU nurse, only 34 weeks pregnant, and still he wants to go buy another property. I love you. You're my dude.
We've also done that.
Yeah, we've done that too. So really the key is it's constant communication, And it's also understanding goal settings, and that those are merely markers. They can be moved. This is not done in ink, it's done in pencil. And so we always talk about, hey, listen, if we see that something's being too much, if we see that something's shifting too much, listen, it's not die with the number. That's not, no, I don't want to get divorced, ever.
For the other half.
Yeah.
For the other half, the main thing that I will say that I've put up here, Matt cast the vision constantly. He never stopped talking about the vision. He said, this is where this property can take us. In this year, it can take us to this. In this next year, it can take us to this. 10 years down the road, this property will do this for us. And then if we get this property, we'll be here. He never stopped talking about the vision. We are constantly on I am dead tired at the end of the day with 4 kids, and he'll be like, babe, so we've got this going on, and then this, and this, and this, and he cannot stop communicating the vision. But you know what that does? It gives me the sight down the road. I am in a here and now. I am raising our children mostly, so for me, I'm very in the moment, and he is my vision guy. And the vision guy has to keep communicating, this is where we're going, or the in the moment person will be overwhelmed and not able to do it. Keep talking about where you're going.
Yes, I agree with that.
And he won't shut up about
You're
it.
welcome. Next question. Was there another question? Yes, sir. Hello, how are you? Yes.
So that he was talking about kids and how kids kind of affected like our sacrifice and where we were going with that. Again,
Feeding bulls.
Matt is my vision guy. We did delay having kids to a certain goal. So we had a certain goal of where we wanted to be before we started having the child talk. And mostly it dealt with me being done with nursing school. But we made it very clear, we want our kids in our business. We want our kids to be a part of this. We are not going to pull them out and then have our business and then have our children. And we want our children to also know the value of the sacrifices we're making of our hard work. We have pulled them out of Christmas Eve at my mom's house to go fix a flooded basement. And Sam, I have a picture of Sam standing with Matt in our flooded water on Christmas Eve, unclogging a main drain. I've taken all my car seats to my heat repair, and they hang out with my tenant when I say, peace, watch my kid, I'll be right back. And we keep them in it because we love it. And then they have this sense of ownership. They walk through properties with a sense of ownership. They start to see it, and they also know that it's not just going to be handed to them. They have to work it. And in order to be, for me, I started respecting the properties when I worked them. They were Matt's babies until I actually started putting blood and sweat equity into it. I want my children to have sweat equity into it. If we sacrifice a vacation, fine. If we don't go on that, fine, because I want them to know this is where we're going as a family long term.
Yep. Yeah, we don't really take vacation. Athena. Yes. Mm-hmm. I just need somebody who was willing to stick around. Athena asked, she said, I'm not married, and she said, so did you have kind of an idea of the person that you were looking for when you were dating to try and figure out like if that was going to be a good fit, right? Yeah, I was just looking for someone who was willing to stick around after the second date. That when I pitched the plan, it's like, so here's the way I see this going. I'm gonna be rich, but that's up here. I'm down here right now, but I'm gonna get there. No, in all joking, it was for us. It was we actually met at church, and I actually the first time I met Ashley, I was actually singing in her choir, so she was my choir director. And no, I'm not singing for you. I literally said to her after we got married, I said, I'm officially retired. I did what it took to get you. We're done. I'm not singing ever again. I was like, you'll be lucky if I sing the kids lullabies. So, and now the kids all the time, they're just like, Daddy, you sing it. And I was like, I told your mom I wouldn't sing anymore. But really, to answer your question, it was much more about just being very honest about, what that was, what that really looked like, and just really having conversation through it. I knew, Ashley and I really knew, based on our faith, we really knew after that first date, we knew that we were supposed to be together forever. It was just that simple. We just had to let her parents, hi Mom and Dad, we had to let her parents catch up, because I was 28 and she was 20, and I was the oldest 28-year-old on the planet. I'd run product lines for global companies at 28 years old because I was a rising star in that world. She didn't have a checkbook. Like, it was polar opposites. And so very much it came to the things, being in the things that we were in was the most important thing. So for us, the big anchors in our life are church and family, and I didn't really have much of a family. And so I knew that whoever I married, I was going to end up with their family. And most days that's pretty good. It's really good right now because they're watching all of our kids. But no, they're great people. And she has a lot of brothers and sisters, and so I kind of got all of that, whether I wanted it or not. But the goal was always constant communication, working together. Because if you're ever not being fully honest, you're going to end up, it's like making a wrong decision here and then figuring out where that line ends up over here. You end up that far off course up, further down the game. So for us, it was really understanding where we were. We've stayed committed to that. I love my wife extremely. Like, we have a blast together.
We do have a blast together. I was going to say for us, I think we have the same goal.
Yes.
I got on board with his goal. We have the same goal, and marriage is hard, and it's always going to be hard. I think whoever you find, you're going to have spots and differences where you're very far apart. There's going to be some things where you are very close together on, and there's going to be even ebbs and flows where certain times you're jiving together, and other times you're not. But if you're committed to the same goal, and if you're going in the same direction together, and you're willing to just keep committed to your partner, I think that's the most important thing, is if you can find people where you agree on the very fundamentals of your being and your goals, I think.
Yes.
Go.
I agree. Thank you so much, guys.
Can you raise the thingamabob? So, Ashley, where are you going? I got gifts. Do you not remember who I am? So, first and foremost, Matt and Ashley will be here today and tomorrow. So there's clearly lots of more questions going on. So feel free to ask. They will answer them. But as a thank you, I couldn't give you a belt because you got a belt last year, right?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. So here's a championship ring.
Oh!
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike.
Love you too. Thank you very much. That was awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Thank you. All right, so we have one more rock star speaker before our first break. Those of you that were here last year, you had the pleasure of hearing from Sean Cannell at Think Media. We have someone here today that I think is even a bigger rock star. Somebody who's taken a channel from 0 to over 100,000 in a single year. Somebody who has done this with long-form content. Somebody who goes out and really talks about how to do it. With me, he talks about the 2.0 life, like what are you going to do after? And we have Omar El-Takari up. Enjoy.
See that awkward hug right there? Almost kissed. Hey, give it up for yourself. You're in Las Vegas, Nevada. Come on. Hey, so honored to be here, and I was actually here last year just walking around. It's really cool what Michael has been building. But if we've never met, my name is Omar El-Takari. I've been creating content really for 19 years and was able to do it from every single place you could think of in regards to vlogging and live streaming and all these things, and then going into teaching it and then learning how to make a lot of money with it with all the various ways. Now, every time I teach, whether it's online or in person, I always like to encourage you on how to learn. If you didn't know, the last time somebody taught you how to learn was probably in high school or middle school. And so we've just been coasting in every learning environment that we've ever been in. And many times we don't actually do the thing that we learn simply because of we don't know how to learn. And so I just want to, is it okay if I help you learn a little bit? Is that okay? So 101 learning is coming to an event like this and writing down the thing you heard. That's 101. Write down verbatim exactly what I say. 401 learning is writing down what you thought of or what your spirit said as a result of what was heard. So I'm going to say things that's going to resonate with you, but what's going to happen is your mind is going to tell you something else. It's going to tell you, oh, what Omar just said, I can do on Monday afternoon. I want you to write down the thought that came as a result of what I said. Does that make sense? Say yes. Does that make sense? Say yes. So it'll game change your ability to learn, because when you write down what you thought of, it's called good soil. It'll land on good soil. And you know what's cool is, I don't know what you believe about the Bible, regardless of what you believe. I love the Bible. It's the principal book for success. If you don't like success, don't read the Bible. But Jesus talks about these 4 soils, really meaning like when the seed goes out, aka the information or the word or the truth. But when the information goes out, the information is usually good. But the issue is the soil it lands on. And he says pretty much 25% of every room is good soil. So just a small portion of this room is actually going to take what they're learning and do something. And what I love about the result of having good soil, aka being teachable, coachable, learnable, is that he says whatever you get will yield a harvest of 30, 60, and even 100-fold. Anybody want a harvest in this place? Say amen. All right, so we're going to talk about content though, okay? So I don't want to lose you. We're going to talk about content. I want you to write this down. Content creation is wealth creation. Content creation is wealth creation. Now, I love real estate, and I love learning about stocks, and I love thinking that I know about crypto, but I don't know nothing. Does anybody actually know about crypto? None of us do. Okay, so, but here's what I found in over 19 years of doing video, that there is no greater use of your time than to create content. What do you mean by that, Omar? Can somebody help me out? I need a genius to answer this question. How many hours are in a day? 24 hours in a day. I disagree. I disagree with that because when somebody lands on my YouTube channel, there's this stat on YouTube. It's not views, it's called watch time. Everybody say watch time. And literally, in one day, and I grabbed a random day on my YouTube channel, I got 2,279 hours of watch time in one day. If you divide that by 24, that's 94 days. Everybody say content creation is wealth creation. Do you understand what I just said? That people spent 94 days on my brand, on my face, building trust in one day. Last year, we got just a little over 500,000 hours of watch time, which equates to 65 years of time spent on brand. And in all honesty, all we're trying to do in life, really, is build trust. If you want the easy button to life, get people to trust you more. Everything falls down. Everything becomes easier once trust is built. Now, there's something about trust. You can't buy trust. You build trust. And this is why the journey of content creation, it really is a journey. In that, you are consistently building trust, not just with yourself by showing up consistently and uploading consistently, but you're also building trust with people who watch you. And here's what's crazy. You can actually build trust on automation. Those 94 days that were time spent with me just a day ago, people are building trust with me. There's an event going on at the Caesars Forum And I couldn't even walk through the hallways because everybody wanted to take a selfie with me. Now I'm not a celebrity. But why? Because I've created content that has helped people's life, and in that, they can't help but say thank you. How cool would it be to just go places and people are literally thanking you for something you did months, weeks, years ago? Literally happened yesterday. This guy named Sid comes up to me. He's like, bro, just want to say thank you. Hey, thanks, Sid. Appreciate you for saying thank you, man. Thank you. My name's Omar. He's like, I know. And he's like, you have no idea how you've helped my life. He's like, I've been watching your videos. I've been doing what you've been saying. I'm a real estate agent in Toronto, Canada. And from YouTube alone, I made $85,000 last year. I said, and you haven't given me $1. That's called brand. Everybody say brand. Everything. If you want the easy button in business, if you want the easy button in life, build your brand. Build your brand. But Omar, I just, I know I'm supposed to network, number 3, grow your network, but I don't know how to talk. I don't have the fancy equipment. Beautiful. I'm glad that you are already disqualifying yourself. I'm going to enroll you into how and why everyone in this room should be creating content. Everybody say, I am a content creator. Say, content creation is wealth creation. Do you believe that? All right, cool. So here I just wrote down some thoughts, because here's the thing about wealth, right? I think we all know this, that wealth doesn't just happen, right? So if somebody asks you a question, when should you have started your wealth journey? Yesterday, 2020, I wish I bought 10 homes in 2020, right? We're all like, shoot. When's the next best time? When's the next best time? All right. So I'm gonna break some limiting beliefs so that you can move forward and get the unlock you need to build that audience, to create that trust, and to grow your network. Does that sound good? Everybody say yes. Number 1, you don't have to buy a camera. You got your smartphone. Raise your hand here if you have a smartphone. Okay, keep your hand up if you have an Android. You can now exit the building. Just messing. Dang, I just lost half the room. That's a lot of Androids. I'm just gonna show you something. Sorry if I offended you. Don't stay offended. Offense is a moment. Staying offended is a decision. Just kidding. That's true though. Let it go. Let it go. I love you. So, okay. Literally, this is a little phone tripod, right? I think what's crazy is there's not even a clip anymore. I could literally just put it on the thing and start making videos. Boom. Get in front of a window, do it in your car. Shout out to Simon, uneducated economist. Just go. You don't need a camera. Can I tell you in a little secret? Listen. Phone content is actually blowing up on YouTube right now. Content that is shot on the phone. Does YouTube know it was shot on the phone? I don't think so, but I think there is something about the spirit that somebody delivers something using a phone and the rawness of the season of life they're in that the algorithm is picking up on, because watching videos is a human experience. And when we have these polished, super polished videos that are perfect and they're edited like Mr. Beast and they are overstimulating, those days are behind us now. And so everyone has the opportunity to do this. If you want to know what this tripod is, you can go on my Instagram right now. Just take a moment. Go on my Instagram real quick. Type in the word Omar if you got your phone. If you have your Android, just keep it in your pocket. Just kidding. I'm sorry. Look at that's 2. Oh, shoot. The green bubble is about to go crazy in our chat. So if you DM me the word stand, I'll send you the link to this cool little tripod, because everybody here has a great phone that can make content. So you don't need a camera. Everybody say, I don't need a camera. I already have one. There you go. my Instagram is my name, and that is Omar, O-M-A-R. And you could type in E-L-T, and this face, I hope, shows up. Click on the account. Before you go to the DM, hit follow. Is it, yeah, okay, cool. I just grew by 250, 300 people. Hey, I appreciate you, bro. Let's go. Thank you. If I get a ring for talking, I'm giving it to you. No, I'm just kidding. I actually want to keep it because it looks really cool. And then if you message me the word stand, I will send you the stand. Cool? All right, let's move on. You don't need to buy a camera. The next limiting belief. You don't have to edit your videos. What? Thank you. You don't have to edit your videos. And here's why I actually don't want you to edit videos. I don't want you to edit videos because before you are good, you have to get good. And if you rely on the edit to show up, I actually think you're robbing your ability to become a better communicator. And so one thing you can do is literally hit record, do the video, end the recording, and just upload that as is. And I know what your brain's doing right now, but that's not going to work. But the people are going to watch it like that. Omar, I got to do it like the hook and like the thumbnail. Forget that stuff right now. Like your first 50 videos, don't edit them. I dare you. There's a video I created, literally. It says, don't edit your next YouTube video. And it has like 80,000 views. I start the video like this, and then I come back from the camera. I do the video, and then I end it. I uploaded that file straight to YouTube. Now, some things you can do with an unedited video if you want it to be engaging is use some visual aids. Sometimes visual aids will even keep you on track. So if you use like sticky notes and you just hold up a sticky note for each point that you're delivering, amazing. If maybe you have a slide deck that you want to like show, or maybe you have a whiteboard that you want to show, like you don't need to edit your videos. CapCut's already taken from you. No, if you guys, okay, that was like insider language. CapCut is a very easy photo or video editing app, but because of TikTok and all this stuff, okay, move on, Omar, you're ADD. Cool, all right. You don't need to edit your videos. I actually believe that when somebody lands on a video that is of value, meaning they're getting something from your video, that there's a transference of trust taking place without you having to do anything. You made the video once. You didn't even have to edit it. You just uploaded it. And you sneezing in the middle of the video is like the coolest thing in the world. Like you like thing in my throat. I need some water. Let me get some water. Like there is something real about that when in a world that's so fake and polished. Showing up as you are is the way you should show up. Now, you should commit to getting better. You should commit to becoming a better communicator. Choose one thing you can do better the next time you do it. But if somebody meets you on long form content that is not edited, my goodness, you're gonna run into people in the airports. You're gonna run into people at the grocery store, and they're gonna feel like they know you. So you don't need to edit your videos. Is that good news? Yeah. Amazing. Come on, clap it up for yourself. You're a content creator. This one's gonna break your brain. You don't even have to make the video. You can be the video. What do I mean by that? Most of you guys are already having conversations with people. Most of you guys are already going out and doing the thing, or you're on the computer and you're searching for the property, or whatever the journey is that you're on. I want you to know that you don't have to make content. You can simply be the content. Everybody say, be the content. I have built my YouTube channel to over 100,000 subscribers in under a year by simply being the content. Crazy. What did I do? I just turned on a camera, started having conversations with people, and started uploading those conversations. Am I actually making the video? Technically, no. Right now, there's a camera filming me because I'm doing my thing. I'm giving the game. You getting good stuff out of this? Is this good stuff? And we'll get into some Q&A. But every time I'm doing what I do, I have a camera filming me. And then I just upload that content. If you go on my Instagram, very rarely am I looking into the lens. What? You're telling me I don't have to look into the lens to make videos, Omar? No, you don't. You can literally have a conversation with somebody, or you could film yourself talking to somebody, or if you're on a Zoom call, put your phone off to the side, and then upload that. Your content can come from your conversations. It actually is the greatest place to get your content from. Because when you're talking to people, they're actually representing hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people. When one person says their problem to you, they are representing, not only is it representing the problem of so many other people, but they're also saying it in a way that they say it. And I love helping experts, people who are really good at what they do, build their audience and stuff like that. And most of the time, we get in this like expert season where we lose our ability to empathize with people who are in the beginning stage. But if you're having conversations with people at the beginning stage, then like you can speak to more people. Every single industry's beginning stage is the largest group of people. Does that make sense? Like, it's always the biggest in the beginning. That's a bar right there. It's always the biggest in the beginning. Some alliteration, But this is what I call being the content. Another cool little unlock for you is to know that your calendar is your content. Omar, I don't have time to create content. I am so busy. Amazing. Your content is your calendar. What do you mean by that? I mean, when you're at the gym, make the video. When you're hanging out with the family, make the video. I literally fit last night. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. I love you all. I love you. But I also love my wife. Praise God. So last night we went to dinner. I bought my wife a really cool watch. And then I just recorded giving it to her and her reaction. I didn't make a video. I uploaded it on my Instagram. And it has like 12,000 views. And everybody's saying like, Omar is awesome as a husband. That's like good. That's good thinking. I want people to know that I'm an awesome husband, What do I mean? The dinner was on the calendar. I just captured a moment, uploaded it. Can you start to see how easy this can really be? I just realized as a coach that most of us are in our own way of doing the thing you know to do. And I don't know what that is, in this, why you came here. Everyone came here for their own specific reason. But whatever that reason is, the only person standing in the way of you taking action is you. But it's more than it just being you. It's something it's telling yourself is difficult. You know what? I have a trigger word. Like as a coach, a trigger word when I'm helping my clients and my students is the word hard. When I hear the word hard, it like I start twitching. Because they'll say something is hard. Something like, Omar, I'm just having a hard time making videos. Oh, like, what about it is hard? I word vomit. Why don't you just record the video, don't edit and upload it? How does that sound? But I can't do that. Just do that. Something will break. Every time you take action toward a direction that you know is beneficial for your future, the belief breaks. It breaks down. And so what I try to do my best of is try to make this simple. And so if there's anything in the journey of whatever it is you are trying to do and you have told yourself it's hard, it is hard because you told yourself that. And so I'm just trying to break down some barriers. The Bible would call it strongholds, which really is just building a fortress around a thing. So it's like you're trying to go and do something, and there's literally a wall that you've built over time. And the only way to break that down is to get it from hard to doable or easy. Everything in life is figure outable. That's from the Diary of Omar, right there. You don't need to buy a camera. You don't have to edit your videos. You don't even have to make the videos. The next is, you don't need permission to upload videos. Did you guys know that? Like, there's nobody that's going to give you permission to start creating content. If you need it, I'm giving you permission. But really, this is the world we live in, that you could build and grow your network, build and grow trust with people on automation without anyone's permission. How freeing does that feel? Everybody take a deep breath in. Now take a deep breath out. Congratulations. We're all waiting on somebody's permission to tell us to go. But there's already a go inside of you. That's why you feel the desire. And I know I'm talking about videos and content, but whatever that desire is, get your first rental. That's a good desire. And I love the couple that just came up here, like how it's blessed their families. Whose blessing are you robbing because of your inaction? Whose blessing are you robbing because of your inaction? You know, there's this book by Simon Sinek, and Start With Why. Here's the reality of that statement. I kind of agree with it. But the reality is, you don't start with why, you start with who. Your why is actually a who. Who is the person? Who's the person you're trying to help? Is it your kids, your family that you want to create general wealth for? Beautiful. Is it people that don't know how to do the thing that you've been obsessed about, that you've been passionate about? There are people waiting for you to show up. And if you don't show up, either somebody else will, or you just made it harder for them, or you just prolonged the process for them. There's a gift that God's given each and every single one of you, and it's your job to use it. The gift is the tool. The purpose is the reason why. My friend that I forgot his name because he was on my podcast. Everybody's on my podcast is my friend until I forget their name. No, I'm just kidding. Peter Voogd, he says, reasons come before results. If you don't have strong enough reasons, it's going to be really hard to start seeing some results. And I want you to keep the who at the forefront of what it is you do. The more you obsess about the who, the more they will obsess about you. Focus on the problems that people are facing. When you obsess over people's problems more than they think about it, people will be glad to give you money. Making money is actually easy. Again, if you believe making money is hard, that's exactly why it's hard. I want to encourage you with that. And the last thing I'll say, and then let's get in some Q&A, is you don't even need an offer to make money. Sometimes we want the end, we want to start with the end in mind. And Omar, I don't have anything to sell. Omar, I don't even know I don't have a course. You can literally put a link to a Google form calendar. Who here has a Gmail account? Dang, all you guys have a website. Get a Google form going. Put that in the description of your video. When somebody fills it out, call them. If you want to go super techie, sign up for Calendly.com and just say, hey, if you want to reach out, the link in the description, you could book a call with me or somebody on my team. Omar, what do I say on the call? Doesn't matter. Just listen to them. If they took the next step based on the content you created, they have something else to say. They want to get something off their chest. And every conversation yields more content. If you feel like you are running out of content, it's because you're not having enough conversations. Or maybe you're having a lot of conversations, but you're not listening. The first step to any sale is not to say, it's to listen. Listen, listen, listen. So what you're really doing is you're putting yourself out there on YouTube. You're going to upload those videos the way you are, and you're going give the game, and when I say the game, you're going to give great information and value. And then if somebody books a call, they're literally going to say, here's how I need help. And then you can figure out all the other things after that point. Does that sound good? Now here are some, I just want to give you a few really simple video ideas that could potentially go viral. I never guarantee virality, but you can create videos on YouTube that have a high likelihood of getting searched. If you're ready for it, say ready. All right, number 1. Make a video that condenses time for the viewer. Make a video that condenses time for the viewer. For example, I've done real estate for 25 years. Here are the 10 biggest lessons. You know what's really cool about this? Because one of the best strategies on YouTube is to actually make videos only you could make. Think about that. Who else could make the video that I retired myself at age 40 with a regular W-2 job? Only Michael can make that. And the content in the video is intellectual property. It's literally your story, your journey. I've been married for 30 years. Here's how to have a successful marriage. Condensed time. Anytime somebody can get time back from clicking on your videos, there's a high likelihood that they will just click on the video. I read 10 books on building wealth. Here are the 3 rules to live by. You guys are you've already put in the work. You've already consumed the book, the podcast. You've already done the deals. You've already lived the years. You've gotten the results. You've failed. You've succeeded. Now share that with people. The second type of video you can create is a simple how-to video. Here's the thing. You're going to make a how-to video on something else. Because people are looking for the idea or the keyword of something. They're not looking for you. Sorry, because that can hurt people's feelings. I offended the whole room now at this point. No, I'm just kidding. But what I mean by that is let me just, what do you do? Construction? What's a software you use to run your business? Okay. What, how to, Excel and stuff. How to use Excel to grow a construction company. This is leveraging the thing that other people are searching, and then you show up. That's video number 2. Video number 3, the easiest video you can make on YouTube, is actually just a channel trailer. Here's a secret. No one's going to really see it. So if you want to make a video that no one sees, just make a channel trailer. What's a channel trailer? I'm glad you asked. A channel trailer is you for 2 to 3 minutes talking about what you've accomplished and what you plan on posting content about on the channel. Now, it's probably not going to go viral, but it's going to get a video out of your system. And it's probably a very easy video to make because you can talk about yourself. You guys talk about yourself all the time. We all talk about ourselves. And I just love getting people to just do it because the reason I want you to upload videos on YouTube is because one does not simply upload a video on YouTube. There's a lot of implied tasks in uploading a video on YouTube. And one of that is going to youtube.com. That's a step. And then it's actually logging in. And then it's hitting upload and putting a title on that video. And then it's writing out a little bit of a description, what this video is about, how people can connect with you. And then picking a thumbnail that YouTube literally tells you to pick. Hey, just pick a thumbnail. Okay, that one. Great. And before you know it, you know how to upload videos. Does that sound good? That's my time. Thank you so much. Let's get into some Q&A. And something I think would be worth mentioning is if you DM me the word cash, I do these like virtual coaching things, and it's really in my opinion, is a great experience for people getting started creating content. DM me the word cash, and then I'll send you some info on it. But with that being said, let's get in some Q&A. I have a second mic that I would love to. Let's make a deal. Can we make a deal? If you get the mic and you ask a question, it's your job to run it to the next person. Does that sound good? All right, let's go. Automation.
Testing. So I was here last year, and Sean Cannell said hit record. And so I did that, and I just hit 1,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel.
Let's go, clap it up.
Yeah. But I guess my question is, I never thought I'd get to 1,000 subscribers. I was just doing it so I got kind of owe Zuber and Matt and Dion and everybody, because they've given their time to do it. So I figured, hey, I've done a little bit of stuff and, given their time. Anyway, point is, got to 1,000 subscribers. Now what? Do I just keep going, or do I change it up, or do I hire somebody? I mean, I never really thought that I'd get there. So
hire me. No, I'm just kidding. That was a joke. Okay. My question is, and then say it.
My question is, once you get to 1,000 subscribers, just keep doing what you're doing, or change it up, or does it matter?
Yes. What? Okay, here. My YouTube channel is my retirement plan. I know that when I'm at age 70, I'm going to have people who want to hear from me by just turning on a camera and going live. What you do after 1,000 subscribers is what you do once you hit 1,000 subscribers is look at what they're wanting to learn and asking of you from the content you've already posted, and create content around that. And so it'd just be serve that audience at a deeper level than you did in the first year. Because a lot of times in the first year, you're just doing whatever you feel with your intuition to make videos about. But then when you make a video, a lot of times it gets feedback, and then you could see the comments like, hey, you mentioned this, what about this? We literally did this on my podcast. I made a video on how to grow on YouTube, and people were like, you said sponsor your own video. What do you mean by that? I was like, yeah, I mean, sponsor your own video. But I guess if I didn't break it down, let's make a podcast about it. So we made a separate conversation on how to monetize your YouTube video. And then the thumbnail said, sponsor yourself. That video in just 3 weeks had 55,000 views. Grew the audience by just 1,000 subscribers, simply by me answering a question that somebody put in the comments. So I would say go deeper with your audience and just serve them at a deeper level. Right here, the person who does all the work for her husband. I got you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for your presentation, Omar. First, I want to say I'm a proud Android phone user.
Bro, I lost literally 60% of the room. I wish I knew your audience better. My bad. I could have said, if you have an iPhone, leave the room. Everybody's like, woo! Yeah.
But my question is I do have a YouTube channel that I have literally 4 videos on, and I've kind of tailored it to just one topic. Would you suggest if I do several different things, like help my husband with his construction company and my own things, put it all in one, or have separate YouTube channels?
Great question. If you feel like you have a lot to say, but you hear that voice of like, you got to pick a niche, there is something powerful for the platform to have a channel focus. Now, I feel like most people can find a focus even with all the variety of stuff you do, because the channel focus could be the working mom or the working wife. Like that could be like the big granular thing. And then in that, you talk about how you're able to do that. Does that make sense? So, yeah, but best practice is when you're starting out, the more specific your content is, the better chance you have at reaching people. And so I would fight to streamline it, but I'm also okay with you dedicating a season to just make content, see what works, see the way you like creating content. Because there's 4 kinds of content formats that I encourage people to test. You have talking head video, where you just sit in a stationary position and you deliver content. You have vlogging, when you're out and about and you just shoot content using the sun as your lighting and the environment you're in as your background. You have live streaming, which is just punching in, going live, and delivering something of value. By the way, if you go live, don't say waiting for people to hop on. Just jump into the content, because people will watch your live. More people will watch your live stream after you go live than when you did the live. So prioritize the replay value of your live stream as opposed to the live delivery. And then the last way is by podcasting. Test them all. These are the 4 content formats. You could make the same video in different content formats and they might hit differently. But I would just say dedicate the season to test. Marketing is testing. This is why I don't have it all figured out, because I'm still testing. Algorithms are always changing. Actually, subscribers are less important than they ever have been before. It's a vanity metric at this point, because people can get served your video consistently and never be subscribed. But YouTube keeps serving it to them because they keep clicking on it. So testing is good. One right here. Yeah, you can hand it to her.
Did you, sorry, I don't know you that well, but now I'm really going to get to know you and watch all your stuff. But did you start with just YouTube and then grow your Instagram later? Or did you kind of do them simultaneously? I've heard people say you really should focus on one or the other. So just wanted to know what your thoughts were on that.
Yeah. I am a firm believer of picking a platform to focus on. I am biased that YouTube is a great platform to get good at, because most short form video platforms or vertical video platforms are kind of wishy-washy. We've seen them shut down. We've seen them, get taken away or have a maintenance issues and all that stuff, which could be costly for somebody who has an audience there. The way I've grown my Instagram is I've used my YouTube videos to grow my Instagram. So I just focus on creating really great long-form content, and then I clip it up and repurpose it on my Instagram. So most of the time, if you look on my Instagram, the clips I post are actually from my podcast. And then that's drawing more people to the long form. I actually don't upload YouTube Shorts on my channel, and the reason is because I want to create a viewer expectation that when you click on my videos, we're hanging out for a long period of time. Because I know time builds trust. And so, yeah, I didn't even answer your question. To answer your question, pick one.
You did.
And and focus on it. But I love YouTube.
Thank you.
Yep. We got a guy standing in right here, if that'd be cool.
So last year I started a YouTube channel about real estate. I got to 4 videos and it became, I'm gonna make you twitch hard. But then in the last 2 months, I filmed 30 videos just about self-improvement, and because I love self-improvement, and the ideas just kept on coming. So that was much better to be just authentic to who I am. But my question is, now that I've filmed 30 videos and I'm gonna keep filming, which direction should I go? And I do what you say, which is to just turn on the camera, film. I don't put any description or anything, no SEO optimization. What should my growth strategy be? Just keep doing it?
Great. So what I love about how you shared that is most of us have something we're doing that can leverage the time for us to build our audience. Like and the thing you're using, the thing that's paying your bills, doesn't have to be the thing that you make content about. Because you having a presence with your face and name, that is, when somebody wants to do a deal, a lot of times they might not watch a ton of videos. They'll just scroll and be like, oh, this guy is about his stuff, right? So like, just somebody to be able to binge you by scrolling is a powerful thing. So everybody who just started following me here for the first time, you guys can endlessly scroll. Now, I would encourage you, release 1 or 2 of those videos a week and be intentional. Do your best to find out the packaging of that video. When I say that, I mean, even though from your point of things, you created just whatever came to mind, there's something that should wrap the content value, and that is in the form of a question a lot of the times, or sometimes it's in the form of the answer. So yeah, I would just trickle out those releases, and then over time you can maybe and maybe you'll start like a personal development side thing that actually funds your real estate stuff, and it could be awesome, right? So that's what I would encourage you with. Thank you. Yeah. And one powerful mindset for the place I create content from is I don't create content for an audience. I create content from my audience. And so that's the content I'm creating from. So in many ways, we want to do the thing we want to do, and that's fine. But in the thing that we desire to create content on, think about it from the place where maybe you once were or somebody is currently at now. Next question.
So somebody that's starting brand new, you've told us how to. How about how not to? What's the things you want to avoid doing or to not get in trouble with? It's like giving the kids the keys to the car without explaining the rules of the roads or the guardrails.
In this context, what not to do is to not do anything.
Okay.
And I know sometimes that question comes from an overthinking place sometimes. I'm not saying for you, but it's like, I just want to do it perfectly.
It's not about perfect, it's about getting in trouble. I like to push.
Okay, don't cuss in your videos. By the way, profanity will split your audience in half. So even if you have a potty mouth, just don't do it on videos. Unless you don't like money. Keep it clean. That's a good one.
Can I go? Oh, okay. I watch your podcast on YouTube. It's very good.
Thanks.
I've been following you since Think Media. I've been on YouTube for, I think, 4 or 5 years. I'm at about 15,000 subscribers. What I did wrong, I think, in the beginning is I just answered specific questions, and that's all I did. So how can I transition to get, it definitely works. I make decent money. It's really ramped up. I mean,
yeah, 15,000 subscribers is awesome. Give it up. Let's go. Doing the work.
I did. That's like 2,000 videos. So, I mean, it's just not. So I know like search intent, right? People have search intent. And so I was really good at that. But that, like, when I look at Zuber's channel, his is more conversational. It's like, I kind of want to bring more of that in, but I've kind of how would I transition from going from search intent to like trying to get more viewership? Because really, I don't get that many views, but when people watch my videos, they're like, man, your content's great because I'm answering your question, and then they're booking a call with me.
That's good. Yeah. So I want you to know first is that when you go and get more views, just understand that there's a difference between growth content and conversion content. And many times when you make conversion content, it doesn't perform that well on a view standpoint, but it performs really well on a depth standpoint. So, but sometimes conversion content can get viewed, could grow, and everybody has a different philosophy, So my thing with you is I would start talking about, and if it's conversational, talk about what happened as a result of whatever the thing a person did. So if they unlocked $30,000 a month in monthly reoccurring revenue from this one thing, that's the conversation. And just for whatever it's worth, when I have conversations, I choose one thing to talk about. Very rarely, if not at all, will you find one of my podcasts starting out saying, hey, just tell us your story. How'd you get here? No, I'm like, define this. Hey, thanks, Mike, for being on. How did you grow to 60,000 subscribers on YouTube? Like, how did you publish 1,000 videos? Defining, hey, what is a personal brand? So if you're having the person, use them to define something that they know. So yeah, how have you been able to build a business all while doing this? And then keep it on the one thing. Here's something to realize about human nature. Humans are inherently selfish. And you can use human nature to your advantage, or if you fail to, it'll be to your disadvantage. And so humans are clicking on videos wanting to see what they can get from it. And if you don't deliver on the promise, then they peace out. One of the worst things you can do is actually get people to click on your videos and peace out. Because then it puts in a bad taste that when I'm taking a risk when I click on your videos. right? So I would just encourage you, have those conversations, but package them in the result of the thing. Yep. Awesome. Thank you. Stay. Dang, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
So for those of you last year, everybody who's a speaker got this belt. Obviously, if you come back for year 2, you get the ring.
Dang, the ring.
You get the belt for year 1.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Dang, thank you so much. This is sweet. All right, thank you. All right.
You gotta hold it up. Come on.
Okay, hold it up.
Yeah.
For real, thank you everybody for your time, hanging out. And
Thank you
for having me.
All right, you got it, man. So we're just about to our first break. It's going to be about 20 minutes, and hopefully by now I run a tight ship, so it will be 20 minutes. A couple of things I want to point out in the room. You guys know these rules you see here? These ORAT rules? You guys know I have 7 of them? There are 7 of them. There are 4 down here and 3 upstairs. I want to have a game. I would like you to review the rules if you don't know them, and then take a selfie in front of the one that means the most to you, and tag me on Instagram. I will go through it at the end of the day, in reality, probably tomorrow. Find somebody that I think wins, and I will reach out to you and we'll give you some free swag and some free goodies, okay? Does that make sense? Okay, so that's 1. Number 2, I do have an ORAT store up in the upper right-hand corner where I have autographed books. It took me 3 hours to autograph 200 books. So they're up there if you want autographed. They're all hard copies, so not paper copies. They're up there. Also, I had some swag created just for this event. The black hoodie that I'm wearing now is one of 49. There's a white version, which I wear tomorrow, one of 99. And then the sweatpants that says, do the work down the leg, which I really like. So if you want some unique swag that's limited edition, it's up there. Cash only or PayPal. There's my email up there. But at the end of the day, please take pictures of the rules that make sense or that you need. And I'll see you back here in 20 minutes. We've got the lazy landlord up after 20 minutes.